Hello everyone, welcome back to Dungeons & Dragons Icewind Dale. Of course, we're continuing on from where we left off. If you haven't seen the previous episodes in the series, I don't know about you guys, but I would thoroughly recommend starting at number 1, because then things will make a lot more sense. However, as we rejoin the party today, they have just, well, John has just nearly had his throat cut in his sleep. But thankfully, mercy was shown, and he was robbed of his prized flail that he had found on a strange, seemingly half undead berserker that they fought out in the wastes on their way to East Haven. East Haven is a port town, which is a lot more sort of liberal, a lot more, almost has an outlaw feeling to it than some of the other places in 10 towns. And the party are staying at the White Lady Inn. Now, as we join the party, they have just stormed downstairs, hearing all of the disturbance of the Duragar who stole the flails, running out the door. However, being far from ready for combat or even the outside weather conditions, in their PJs with the winds kicking up outside is where we'll join the party. As you're all sort of downstairs in the pub, realizing what's happened, and what would you like to do?
We need to go after them. What?
You all right there, Millet?
Get your stuff. We gotta go. Like, come on.
All right. Run upstairs, go get your shite, and let's go get these little bastards.
I had my beauty sleep, but whatever. I hate it.
Oh, stop complaining. Let's go. And I'll hurry them upstairs. Go get their shit.
Get the.
Are you all
geared
being
up.
shepherded to go and get your gear on?
Yeah.
Get her stuff.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so Dorothea herds you all up the stairs, and you all go and don your combat garb and pick up your packs. And we'll say that you sort of hastily get ready, but it does still take you sort of, 5 to 10 minutes. Some of you are fitting armor. Darmok, you have, very heavy armor to put on, and you've all got to, Fletch, you've got to string your bow. That you can't sort of get ready in an instant like that. So we'll say it takes you about 10 minutes before you're all reconvening downstairs, ready for action. And with the door still open, and you can still see the trail of the two Duragar leading out the door down towards the right and the docks.
Well, I say we just follow the trail.
Absolutely. You go first.
Let's go.
All right.
All right, so as you guys all sort of trail out, following these pair of snowy footprints, you follow them down towards the docks. And as you approach the docks, you see that this area is, you would guess it's very early in the morning. Like, light has begun to appear, but there is no sort of hazy, misty light like there tends to be during the day at the moment in Icewind Dale. Instead, it's still pretty dark, but we'll say that you can see okay. And as you approach the docks, this area is already growing to be somewhat busy. There are guards stationed at the entrance to a lot of the jetties, and you can see people pushing carts up and down, and people seemingly setting up sort of makeshift trading posts at the end of each one of their ports. You don't see too much activity on the ships themselves, and as you follow the Duragar's trails, you realize that because of the increased activity and footfall here, unfortunately, the snow's kind of turning to that, that sort of gross brownish slurry that you get when a lot of people have walked over it. And unfortunately, as the footprints turn right to go sort of perpendicular to the docks, they just disappear. They're no longer traceable, as many carts and feet have already, in this short span of time, trundled over them. But it certainly seems as though the dwarves were running up the side of the docks. So, with this in mind, what would you like to do?
Well, shite.
Is there anyone close by?
So, as you look
Rug
around,
trader.
there's no rogue traders. You'll be very pleased to know. But as you look around, there's not too much, sort of, I would say, approachable activity here. There's some people bustling goods here and there. What you do see close to you, however, is two of the ships with more activity. You can see lanterns are lit on them, and their crews appear to be milling around the decks and offloading and unloading different supplies. Even though they are frozen and trapped here in the port, it still seems as though they're attempting to kind of, be ready to go at any moment. And these two ships that you see, one of them is a larger ship. It almost looks as though it's a frigate of some sort of combat-ready vessel, and this flies a black flag. And you see the men and women loading the ship seem to be dressed in different kinds of garb. There's no identifying uniform between them. One dock over, you can see that there is a smaller, sleeker ship that appears to be flying purple sails. And Fletch, why don't you go ahead and make me a history check with advantage, given your background.
Okay. 18.
18. All right. So, Fletch, when you look at these two ships, you recognize the one with the purple sails, the smaller, slimmer vessel, is undeniably flying the sigil of the Arcane Brotherhood, which is a silhouette of the host tower of the Arcane in Luskan, which is a city on the Sword Coast, on a purple shield. And it has this emblazoned quite boldly on the sails. It's hard to miss, but you immediately recognize that symbol to be the Arcane Brotherhood.
Okay.
And you can see people on that ship are much more uniformed in sort of dark purple flowing robes, and they seem to be taking it somewhat slower and just milling about a little bit more than this more ragtag crew, we'll say, of the larger ship.
I'll say to the party, let's ask the people on that ship, see if they see anyone. I'll point towards one with the black sails, not the Arcane Brotherhood ship.
Spooky.
Right. So you make your way up towards. What are you all going with Fletch?
Yep.
Sure.
Oh, absolutely.
You make your way up to this frigate-like vessel, and yeah, there are a lot of dock hands of all sorts loading stuff on and off the ship. It seems as though what they're loading mostly seems to be food supplies, very practical stuff. You see some rope and netting for making repairs, but the large part of it seems to be kind of like non-perishable goods, if you like. You see barrels of biscuits and rum being loaded on board. Nobody in particular seems to pay you much heed as you approach, perhaps assuming you to be new hires for the crew or delivering something. So for now, your presence is fairly inconspicuous. Is there anything that you'd like to do?
Do you guys want to just become pirates?
Always an option.
I don't think there's much piracy going on right now, considering you can't set sail.
True. So we just flag somebody down.
Flag.
So are you just flagging someone down, Eddie?
Yeah, someone carrying a barrel.
All right, so you flag
Just
down,
wait for a guy to
flag
carry.
down this half-elven chap carrying a large barrel, barely managing with it, and he seems to kind of lean backward slightly as he stops to speak to you, still heaving this barrel up. He goes, yeah, if you could make it quick, mate. What is it?
How long have you been docked on this dock?
Oh, we've been trapped here since the ices start. I lose track of the time.
Wondering
Yeah.
if
Have you seen any dwarves around? That might not look like they're meant to be.
Hang on. And with this, he
Darmok's
just
gonna
lets
like grab, yeah,
he
like
lets the barrel like crash to the floor, and he seems to take a breath, leaning, and he goes, "Oh, sorry about that. You won't believe how much biscuits weigh. Oh, any dwarves? We got a couple in the ship.
No, ones that like don't look like they're supposed to be here. You know, they look a bit off.
I look a bit off.
Potentially scurrying
Peace
away
Haven
at
takes
a
all
rapid
sorts.
pace.
Scurrying away. You been having some trouble?
Yeah, they stole something from us, the little shits.
Oh, I'm not sure. I mean, I've heard. I think this is probably something better for the captain. I can go fetch him if you'd like. I should really keep getting the biscuits on anyway.
yes, please.
If you don't
All
mind.
right. Oh, here we go. And again, he sort of bends over and heaves up this barrel of biscuits and stutters up the gangway on it. And he disappears from view for a second. But after a minute or two, you see this figure dressed in much cleaner cut, simple black clothes, wearing black trousers and a cloth shirt. And he appears to have what is almost like a highwayman mask tied around the upper half of his face. And he approaches you all and he goes, "Hello, you've been inquiring as to dwarves."
Aye.
Yes, dark
Some-
dwarves.
Dark dwarves.
Dark dwarves.
Well, this just got a little bit more interesting, didn't it? Pray tell me, who is asking of dark dwarves here in Easthaven?
The name's Eddie.
Eddie, lovely to meet you. And is this your crew? You look like a man of the sea.
It's not my crew. I
it's
haven't
true.
been on the water in a little while now, but these are the people. This is my party.
And with this, he reaches up and takes off a tricorn hat that he was wearing and
Nice.
brushes his sort of graying dark black hair back. And you see two horns protruding and definitely giving him away as a tiefling. And he pushes back this hair and he goes, "Well, I'm the Captain Roberts. Lovely to meet you. I've been here
Likewise.
for some time now, unfortunately. Now, as to these dark dwarves you've been speaking of, what was your cause for this questioning, if you don't mind me asking?
About 10 minutes ago, they ran past the docks, and we tried to chase after them, but we couldn't do it in our skivvies, so we ran back, trying to find them, seeing if anyone saw them as they ran by.
And why do you need to find them?
They stole something of mine.
Well, this lines up rather ill-fortuitously with other tales I've heard in the Trout. Yes. It seems as though you're somewhat more sober than the usual people telling these stories. So perhaps there's some truth to them. There has been stories of dark dwarves, or Duragar, as they can be called, running around the city, stealing the most interesting of trinkets. What is it they stole?
They stole a weapon.
A weapon? That's frightfully inconvenient, isn't it? Do you think they're all here on the docks?
Or at least
We
ran
can't-
past them.
They
Yeah.
headed this way.
Truth be told, I've noticed a few odd things on the docks since the Great Freeze came. As mentioned, I'm somewhat of a patron of the wet trout. And, there's another fellow who drinks in the wet trout, actually. Scython. He's a friend of mine. You see, the interesting thing about Scython is that he operates the East Haven Ferry. Ships people to Caer Dineval and, I believe, a few other coastal locations here in the Dale. However, the most curious thing is Scython is a fellow who likes his drink, especially when there's free time to be had. Now, of course, the ferry can't go anywhere and hasn't for some weeks. Which means the fact that I've been seeing people on the deck of the ferry is most unusual. Now, I haven't told Scython this because I figured they were just scroungers or perhaps looters, and I know for a fact he doesn't keep anything of value on that ferry. Didn't want the old chap to worry. But if you're saying somebody's hiding out on the docks, the ferry wouldn't be a bad place to check. It's just a few docks over.
East Haven Ferry. Look at that.
That's a good lead indeed. Thank you very much, Captain Roberts.
Because I'd be a little careful. You seem like decent fellows. I'd hate to kill you by having you track down evils like Duragar. Make sure you know what you're getting yourselves into.
Well, do you have any tips? I can't say I've ever run into many of them.
Can't say I have either. Heard tales, though. Thankfully, they're not really the seafaring kind. We don't really run into them much at sea, and generally, we're always there. However, I have heard tales that they've been stealing, as I said, around East Haven. Taking trinkets that people seem reluctant to discuss. A little bit like your weapon. He cocks an eyebrow at you, Eddie.
Aye.
So, you probably know more than I do. But perhaps they're up to no good.
Well, the knife point I was at about 20 minutes ago probably leads to that same argument.
You see a wry smile appear on the captain's face. He goes, Not many men would be held at knife point and rush back to it. You must be a brave fellow.
We're just trying to
There's
track
room
down
on the crew
these-
when we're back at sea.
I might take you up on that offer, but right now I need to go find these bastards.
Well, I hope I've been of assistance.
Cheers.
Definitely
I'll
have.
flick him a silver piece.
He catches this with a very open look of,
What?
are you serious? And a small chuckle escapes his lips and he goes, I think you might owe me a favor somewhat larger than that, but we can get to that later. So why don't you scurry on and see if you can deal with those Duragar.
Sure thing. Let's go. Dorothea scuffles off.
All right.
Scuffling off.
So you all scuffle off away from the ship, and you can see the small ferry docked a few sort of jetties down. It's just at the end of one, just gently bobbing in what water is broken around it. But yeah, there doesn't seem to be any activity that you can see, at least from this distance.
Question becomes, do you think Scython's on the boat, or do you think he's at the wet trout?
Well, if he's not been ferrying anyone, he won't be here, will he?
Yeah, perhaps we should check just in case they're on the boat. But then again, we'd be trespassing on the boat.
Yeah. Can get away with pickpocketing here, apparently, but not so much breaking and entering?
Yes, but it is the middle of the night. So this Scython
Likes to drink.
Asleep.
He's probably still awake.
He might be quite inebriated, though.
He might be able to give up more information than he would if he was sober.
I think we should just check the ferry. I think it'll be fine.
Go
I
ahead,
feel like
Nizar.
I feel like we should at least come up with. We've kind of got them boxed in if they're on it, right? The sea's frozen; they can't go anywhere. So,
Oh, for sure, but if we go away, they could be watching us right now.
We
Keeping an eye
also
out.
we did think that they couldn't come into our rooms because of string. So I don't say that they're
We did.
that boxed in. They could have
First
more
of
tricks
all-
up their sleeve.
Rope.
I will remind the party, as I did last time, that they all specifically shrank to get into the room.
So let's just go in there, scare the living bejesus out of them, and then stomp on them once they shrink. You see? That'll do it.
I'm just a little worried that Scython is going to become belligerent if he notices more people on his ship.
All right.
Notice, it's fine.
what if we did it in such a way that we said to Scython, "We see that there are people living on your ship. We'll take care of them
Waters.
for a price. You know, we earn a little gold that way. You know, for something we would do anyway."
I think it overcomplicates things, frankly. Simple. We go on the thing. We crush some annoying dwarves. It'll be fine.
So Captain Robert says
Udigar.
that he has seen some of these creatures on the ship, but that doesn't mean that they will stay there.
Nor does
So-
it technically mean that it was actually them. Maybe
We
it's
could just say
other
that we saw
squatters.
some people on the ship, and we went to go investigate. As
We don't have to tell anybody.
No.
True.
I don't think there's any issue.
I mean, Izar,
Let's just
go ahead, man.
I'm going, but I'm not going first.
I will go first.
All right. So where are you heading? What's your plan?
We're going to the ship.
Going to the ship.
I think we're
All
going
right.
to the
So
ship.
are you just gonna storm down the jetty and straight onto the ferry, or are you going sneaky beaky like?
We're going to be all
what's the plan?
casual like we fit in there.
All right. So you guys take a leisurely stroll down the jetty that houses the ferry at the end of it. You see, it is just hitched up to the end of the dock, and you reach there. And from where you're standing, you're towards the back of the ship, by the way. So from where you're standing, before you approach like the very gangplank of the ship, you can't see anyone on it. Would you like to do anything else?
I think it'd be better to stealthily go onto the ship at this point.
Makes sense if we're trying to catch them by surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for sure, if there is anyone even here,
True.
would be good to surprise them.
All right. Can I get a stealth check from everyone then? You are sneaking
This is
aboard.
Gonna go well.
Stealthy,
14.
stealthy check.
Cat rolled an
Ooh.
8. Feels bad.
I rolled a 4.
Roll
Oh,
a 9.
chunk,
6.
chunk.
So you guys, you sort
Not
of
good.
take a low crouch and start approaching the gangplank of the ship a little bit slower. And as it reveals more of the ship lengthways, you can see that there are 2 Duragar standing on the deck of the ship. And as you get closer, they're actually pounding on the small cabin on the deck's door. You're going, "Oh, let us in! Let us in!" And at this point, Fletch, you stand on a particularly creaky beam of wood, and their heads just snap towards you. But instead of particularly reacting to your presence, the pounding intensifies and they go, "Let us in! Durth, open the door! Durth, they're here!" And they're just smashing on this door. What would you like to do?
I would like to go tackle
I'll tell you
one.
what, I'll put you on the map.
I
so
would
you
like
can,
to go.
I want
beat
to
the crap out
tackle
of
one
them.
to the ground.
Yeah, here's the map, so you get a little bit of a better idea where you are. You are at the south end of the jetty. You've just been walking up there, so yeah, around where Eddie's placed himself, and a little bit further forwards. So I'd say that you're around there and onwards. And the Durgar have snapped their attention towards you, still pounding on the door as one of them and yelling for this supposed Durth to let them in. So, Darmok, were you saying you'd like to run and tackle one?
Yeah, but I mean it's pretty far now. But I would like to try to get there before the door opens. Yes.
Okay, in that case, you are storming onto the deck, and as you do, the dwarves turn to you and draw weapons. So we can roll initiative.
Okay.
Let's go. All right.
I rolled an 18.
I rolled 10.
Justin, you haven't rolled higher than a 7 all game.
Sorry, I didn't.
The Durgar are going to act as one, so I'll just roll one initiative for them. Quickly.
I mean, you are a tiefling. Roll one more 6, and that's the number right there.
All right. So, the Durgar rolled an 11. Is everybody on the turn list?
The only ones that
Yes.
go before. There.
No, we're missing one.
Wait,
Right?
hang on, it's me. How do I do it again?
You got to
Click on
select your
your
character and then
character's
click
bubble.
initiative.
And then
Oh, your
the
character
letter.
bubbly's not on the thing, is it?
Yeah, but you need to drag
Oh,
yourself
right,
onto the map.
Yeah, sorry, multitasking. Eh.
So because Darmok's going for the flying tackle, we'll start with Darmok up there.
yeah.
Surprise.
I didn't think Cass said anything about flying tackle.
It's a flying tackle.
RKO out of
tackle.
nowhere.
You have to have your token selected. I'll add you. Oh,
I'm
you're
in,
on there.
I'm
now.
in.
Okay, good. Excellent. Right. So, top of the round, we have Eddie. What would you like to do? As these Durgar turn towards you, Darmok, storming onto the deck of the ship, flying, and draw their weapons. What would you like to do?
What is it me or is it
It's you,
Darmok?
Eddie.
How high up from the pier are we? Or sorry, how
You're
far
like-
up from the ship is
You're
the
not
pier?
much. You're like 3 or 4 feet below.
Okay, so it's like I could see them if I stood here, kind of thing.
Where they are back on the deck, I would actually say no. Because they are
Okay.
dwarven, remember?
Right, they are
So-
quite small. So let me
Yeah.
try this again here.
You'd kind of want to be behind Darmok, you think, to get a good view, basically.
Gotcha. In which case, haha, 30 feet. Way. Yeah, I'm gonna take a nice fire bolt.
Okay. Roll your
Stab him in
firebolt.
the face.
Which one are you targeting?
The one closest to us.
Okay,
The one banging on the
The
door. I
one
guess,
that
in
had
this
the
case.
knife to him.
Yes.
I'm afraid 11 does
Damn.
not hit as your firebolt just whizzes off, casting a streak of light into the dim sky. Anything else?
That's it for me, unfortunately.
All right, Dorothea, you're up.
All right, I would like to move up to there-ish. Dip, 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 dip. And I would like to try and zap him with a... Actually, as my bonus action, I'd like to cast my spiritual weapon, please.
Okay.
Nice.
I don't have a token for it. So we'll just imagine there's a spiritual weapon. Yay. And I would like...
Tell you what. Where are you placing it? Could you ping?
just above me.
Oh, okay, sure. We'll put a purple X. There you go.
Purple X. Thank you. That's
Nice.
my spiritual weapon. And I'd like to send it over and try and boop one of them on the head.
Okay, so it's going over here.
Yes. Nice.
Roll your attack with it.
All right.
13. 13 does not hit, I'm afraid. This Duragar drawing his, it appears to be a sort of like a war pick, like a shortened warhammer, swings and just manages to parry the glowing hammer that appeared in the sky.
Yes.
What next?
I can't do an attack and do an attack with my spiritual weapon, or can I? Are they treated as two separate
I think
things?
it's your, is it your, I think it's
Yeah,
your
bonus
action to
action.
cast it, right?
It's
Or your
bonus action to-
No, it's a bonus action to cast, and
Okay.
when you cast it, you can attack with it, and then after you get a bonus action
Yes.
to move it and use it again.
Yeah, so you have your action.
Oh, okay, cool. Then I'd like to try and guiding bolt from where I am at the guy closest to us.
You can't cast 2
Can't
spells
cast
in
two
a
spells.
turn.
Can't cast two spells. Right,
Unless
okay.
one
so...
is a cantrip.
Ah, okay. All right, then I will not do that. I will just hold my position.
Okay, Dick. Fletch, you're up.
Is there enough space for me to get past?
On the jetty,
Darmok?
yeah, you couldn't. I don't think you could make it onto the ship. Darmok is kind of blocking the gangway, but you could move
Alright.
past them up the jetty.
Well, if I stand here, am I tall enough to shoot my bow at one of the dwarfs?
As a Goliath, we'll say yeah, sure. why not?
Big
Okay,
boy.
I will string, or well, no, I wouldn't string it. That would take me ages. I'm just going to shoot the bow at the closest dwarf.
All right.
A 9.
A 9 does not hit. I'm afraid your
Curses.
arrow
We are
thuds
awesome.
into the wood of the
Wow.
cabin
Bonk.
next to them. Bonk.
that-
Anything else?
no, that's me. I've got nothing else.
Darmok, you're up.
All right.
Flying tackle time. Let's go.
Yeah. I'm gonna use my bonus action for Peerless Athlete. That will give me advantage on strength or dexterity acrobatics checks. And
Alright.
I'm going ham. I'm gonna go and run at this one guy and tackle him to the floor.
So you're attempting to grapple him,
Right,
essentially?
yes, I'm gonna
Grapple
attempt to
that boy.
grapple him.
Alright.
Grapple.
So-
The one that's banging on the door.
Is that contested strength then? think it is,
Contested
right?
acrobatics or athletics, if I recall.
Okay.
Yeah,
Alrighty.
If I recall correctly.
Okay, so
the one that's banging on the door. I'm taking
yeah,
him.
the guy in front of you banging on the door doesn't matter. He rolls a natural 1. So you absolutely smash into him, and he is now grappled. So you can have the net of being grappled. And he's no longer banging on the door.
Okay. Now the grappling takes both hands, right? I'm assuming.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna hold him down and try to mess with his buddies and say, just end my turn there and tell everyone, come on the ship.
All right. So Darmok urging the others on. It is the turn of the Duragar, who is going to try
Can't
to.
wait.
Well, first we'll start with the grappled one, who's going to try to break out of your grapple. Although I don't think
Okay.
he actually can. Interesting. Let's try. Yeah, that's not going to do it. All right. So he remains grappled.
Okay.
So his speed is 0, I believe, but he can still attack you. I think.
I think
that's
with
the
light
grapple
weapons,
condition,
is
right?
that right?
You're the DM.
No, I think he can just attack you. I think it's just movement 0.
Yes.
Okay, so he is going to awkwardly swing at you with his war pick, which is wow, that's a 9. So I'm assuming that
Does
doesn't
not
hit you. All right, and with his second attack, he rolls a 22. There you go.
That does hit.
All right, and that deals 6 points of piercing damage to you.
Okay.
So he just manages to awkwardly swing in the kind of confined space as you're trying to hold him down. And the one behind him is going to start banging on the wall of the cabin and going, Durth, I know you're in there, you coward. Come out. This isn't fair. And then he's going to sprint. Yeah, he'll go like around your spiritual weapon. And he's actually going to block the gangway and stand there ready for action. All right, so
Ready for action.
Huzzah, you're up.
Yay. All right, I'm going to try and do cool spell things. All right, so since he's like right at the gangplank, I assume I can see him from here.
Yes.
Cool. I would like to cast Command. And my eyes sparkle, as does the interesting necklace that I'm wearing. And I tell him, auto jettison. He must make a whiz save.
All
Is
right.
he gonna launch himself into the water?
That's what auto jettison means, yeah.
Well, actually, with command, you can't command somebody to do something directly harmful to them, can you?
They can jump in
What
the
do you-
water, I believe.
Yeah. Well, it's ice. He wouldn't get hurt from that, would he?
Extremely harmful. It's a frozen sea.
Yeah, that's true.
You could tell him to
I
flee.
think any living being would view jumping off the ship as harmful to themselves.
Oh, I didn't realize it was that high.
Well, I mean, it's just jumping off a ship onto a frozen sea. I think anybody would view it
Yeah,
as harmful,
goodbye
right?
ankles.
Yeah.
All right, then.
Let
I'll
me just check. I'm pretty sure it can't be something. Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah, no,
if
it
your-
can't be directly harmful. I
If
didn't.
your
I didn't
command
realize
is
that would
directly
be-
harmful, they can't do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, that's fine. I didn't realize it would be directly harmful.
All right. You can
Um,
command him to do something else if you'd like.
No, I'm just gonna scorching ray.
That works too. All right.
Zap.
Get burnt,
Never
baby. All right, scorching ray. Let me just make sure. Wait. For each ray. Jeez. All right.
Yeah. You make 3 attacks.
Jeez.
Ooh.
Wow.
Nat 20!
He's
Nice.
getting burned.
Just telling you now,
24,
all
24.
15, nat 20.
All 3 of those hit him.
Bloody hell, this guy's gonna get
So
scorched.
you triple tap this guy with your
Bloop.
scorching ray.
Bloop.
Ooh.
Oh my.
Oh my
goodness.
gosh. 15.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's 30.
That is 30 on the
That is
nose.
30. So as your first 2 scorching rays slam into his chest, you can see huge just scorch marks and burns erupt over him. And the last one hits him in the head, and you just see half of his head explode away in a just mist of gore, essentially.
Bloody hell! Bloody hell!
He is
What?
absolutely annihilated by your scorching ray strike.
Ouch. Gross.
Izar, I didn't know you had it in you.
That's it. I'm just stammering. I think this is the first time I actually hit anybody.
Gruesome.
I'm not sure, but it feels
It's a
like
good
it.
entrance to make. I'll give you that.
All right, that's my turn.
All right, Eddie, you're up.
Going to dipsy my way over this half-charred dead body.
Ugh.
And hopefully now that I'm closer, that will make the rolls better by throwing another fire bolt at this boy.
Okay.
Okay.
Whack. Oh, there it goes.
That
15.
hits. Your
Nice.
Firebolt hits.
8 damage.
So a solid strike, still a somewhat meager display after the scorching ray that just occurred, but a bolt of fire shoots out of Eddie's hand and catches this Duragar and begins singeing the bottom part of his beard, and you see nasty sort of boils in his leather armor erupt. As it certainly looks like it's some damage. Anything else, Eddie? Sorry.
That's it. I'm just gonna my last 10 feet, gonna move to the other
Okay.
side of the ship.
Dorothea, you're up.
All right, I'm gonna move on to the ship as well. I think I can get to here-ish. And I want my spiritual weapon to take another swing at this poor guy. Is he still
Alrighty.
grappled, right?
Yeah.
He's grappled,
Yeah, he
yep.
is. He's
Okay.
in my arms.
All right. Oh, poor guy.
That doesn't give advantage, though, just 'cause you're-
Unfortunately.
Okay, that's fine. Oh, bonk. Damn it.
12, that does not hit, I'm afraid.
All
He
right.
manages to sort of shove him and Darmok out the way of it, and it just crashes into the cabin.
Okay. So now that I haven't cast my spiritual weapon this time, I'm allowed guiding bolt?
Yes.
Yes.
Yay!
Yes.
Okay, cool. I would like to try and guiding bolt then. Try whack
Go
him
for
there.
it.
Whack
I
'em.
will do damage. Damn it. Never
No,
mind.
you won't.
A
10.
10 doesn't hit, I'm afraid, as your guiding bolt, once again, he's kind of wiggling to dodge this, still attached to Darmok, and the guiding bolt slams into the door of the cabin and blasts a hole straight through it. And I will say, through the hole,
Ooh.
you see light pour out as the
Ooh.
flicker of a lit lantern dimly illuminates the area.
All right, looks like we got company, friends. I'll shout to them as we end my turn there.
All right, Fletch, you're up.
So I'll go onto the ship. Whoops. And I'm gonna try and hit this guy, the Darmok's grappling, but I'm specifically hitting him with the hilt of my sword to try and non-lethally.
Non-lethal him. Okay, sure.
Yes.
Whack 'em.
So that's a 14.
Doesn't hit, I'm afraid.
Oh, fuck's
We
sake.
found its AC, boys. We found his AC.
Oh, we
Your
already knew
attempt to be
these.
non-lethal, unfortunately, results in you just brushing his armor with your hilt.
Oh. Well, that's it. I'll just lend Darmok moral support to maintain the grapple.
Darmok, you're up.
Yeah. All right. Well, it seems no one else can hit him, even when I'm holding him. So I'm gonna release the grapple. And
right.
I'm gonna take my own swings at this guy. Be
Go for
like,
it.
okay,
Swack 'em.
20,
Nice.
That certainly hits. Unnatural 20.
Nice.
a natural 20. 8 slashing damage,
Yep.
and I'm
Why
going
do I
to.
feel like a divine smite's
I
coming?
am going to use my divine smite.
Okay.
I'm actually going to use divine smite and inspiring smite as my
Jeez.
bonus.
Very inspiring
So-
of you.
It's,
hey.
I've been very inspired by my team.
By that Izar's
Totally.
explosive head.
Okay. So it's 2d8. 10 extra damage.
All right, so that is perfect to do it. So as you strike down at this Duragar, at first it looks as though you've just landed a clean strike, but as your sword bites into his shoulder, it flashes and illuminates with brilliant light, cutting through the mists, and just crumples him. You can see the force drive him downwards onto the deck of the ship, unmoving, and very much so dead.
Okay. And I will
Alright.
also heal for 6.
Nice. That's so cool.
That's an awesome attack.
Yes.
All right, cool. So you're on the ship. However, perhaps our business here isn't done yet. Is there anything else you would like to do now we're out of combat?
I'm gonna go peek through that hole in the wall.
I would like to probably hide the bodies inside of as best I can, so someone just walking down the
cabin.
pier doesn't see.
I was planning
Sure,
on
well,
Fiery-
sticking on the
Well,
pier.
first, Darmok, how are you hiding the bodies? What are you doing?
Okay. Is there a barrel or a group of boxes or
Is
something?
there a barrel of biscuits around?
That's not directly like on literally the walkway.
The deck is littered with barrels and crates that presumably once held supplies that have indeed been scavenged. But there is now sort of open, ice-rimed boxes and crates that you figure you could probably heave the body of a Duragar into one if you like. But I will say a good part of the deck of the ship is covered in the remnants of battle, we'll say, especially from Izar's rather effective scorching ray. So
Understood.
I think you could hide the bodies from sight if you want to.
I still think I want to, because I still have my peerless athlete around,
Okay.
so I should be able to pretty easily move the bodies.
All right. So we'll say that you you
Regardless.
stuff them away in a couple of crates on
Wait,
the deck
well,
and-
just as Darmok's stuffing them away, I would turn to Eddie and say, "Do these look like the ones that robbed you? Do you recognize them?"
Do I recognize them?
You do. These were the two who robbed you in your room.
Can I
I-
check?
Which one held the knife?
Can I check for
One you
items
blew
on
the
them?
head off of. Yeah, make an investigation check.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to find the flail, please.
Four guys were
19.
named. 19. All right. As you sort of rule through their pockets and their sort of armaments, they each had a war pick. It doesn't look like anything particularly special. It does show fine dwarven handiwork. Not as fine as actually some of Dorothea's wares, even that you've seen, but well-made war picks. Nothing seems particularly special about them. And interestingly, you find two small glass vials, one on each of the Duragar, both of which are empty.
Ah. Dun dun dun.
That was how they got smaller.
Perhaps.
You think so?
I
wonder what it was.
Eddie's hammer is not on the bodies, right?
Well,
The flail.
flail.
No,
The flail.
it's not.
they might have stashed it inside the room.
Well, it doesn't look like they got in the room, but we can see.
Well,
Guess we
perhaps
should
they have it
look
dropped
in more
somewhere.
further.
So
Are
I
you looking at
plan
the
on.
door? Oh, sorry, Izar, go ahead.
I plan on sticking on the dock part,
Mhm.
and I'll be rummaging through any things on the docks to see
Sure.
if they stash anything, and I'll also be looking out just to make sure nothing weird is going on
Going
around
to
us.
ready a firebolt if a
Sure thing.
Duragar walks through that door.
So,
Walks out of that door.
actually, Izar, interesting you do that. Make me an investigation check.
Sure. I rolled a 2.
Oopsies.
I would say one thing would be fairly evident, even if you don't interpret it that well. As you're sort of rummaging around the effects on the dock, one of the barrels isn't covered with snow like the others. It stands out even to somebody doing their best to not see something like that. But one of the barrels isn't covered with snow. What that means, who knows? Well, it still has like an icy sheen on it, but it obviously has not been sitting here for long like most of the other things on the dock.
Is it sealed?
Go give it a look if you want.
I would like to see if it's sealed.
It's full of spiders. No, okay. As you
Could you imagine?
as you,
Oh my god,
as you,
no.
you managed to pull the lid of the barrel off. It is a proper, we'd call it a ton in England. I don't know if that word exists anywhere else, but like a big, old-fashioned oaken, like bound barrel. You do manage to pull the lid off with a little tug, and there isn't really anything to be seen in here. It's actually quite pristine inside. The only thing you do notice is that the inside has been lined with a sort of cloth of some sort, almost as though it were to protect whatever was inside.
What you make of that?
I mean, I'll like shout this to them, but I have no idea what that could be.
Hmm.
Do I have a torch in my bag? I think I do. Where's my bag?
Yeah, if you have an adventurous pack, you will.
Yeah. I realize though I don't have a way to light the torch without using a spell slot, so I probably have a tinderbox.
Yeah.
You have a party member who can make fire come out of his hands. Just saying.
Shoot.
Oh, I have a tinderbox. I'll light my torch. I'll light my
Eddie, I'm
torch
gonna
and
balance
kind
this
of
torch
see
on my
if there's
head.
anything in here.
you watch Izar struggling to use a tinderbox while smoking to yourself, and eventually, Izar, you get the torch lit. So there you go. You have a lit torch. Congratulations.
I just want to see a little bit clearer, like what type of material is
Oh,
lining it.
the cloth lining it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that you really need to roll for this. Upon feeling it with your fingers and having a bit of a closer look, it's just quite a well-kept linen cloth, essentially, something akin to you'd see used on a dinner table, basically. It appears to be in here as padding, so yeah, protect whatever was placed inside.
Interesting.
That's now not in there.
No, the
Right.
barrel is empty. So.
Yes. Okay.
All right, I'll douse my torch somehow and put it back, and I'll just stay on the docks.
Okay.
I'd be still a little worried that there's someone in that in the ship in that
they were
room.
I want
shouting
to
names.
look through the hole in the wall.
So you look through the hole in the wall. Now, Ailey, what you see is a room dimly lit by a lantern, but it's enough to get a peek in through this decent-sized hole that you blasted out with your guiding bolt. The room is in disarray. There's a map on one of the tables which has been hastily scrawled on in some places, and there appears to be piles of items, is the best way to put it, strewn in small piles around the room. From the little bit that you can see, there looks to be some chains and perhaps jewelry, like amulets. It's hard to get a real read on what it is from where you are, but in a small pile just next to the table. Bear in mind, you could only kind of see like a vertical cut of this room. Other than that, there's a few chairs in there and a couple of mugs you see sort of clumsily placed on the floor. You can't really see much more in.
Okay. Well, looks like we found their stash of stuff. Somebody want to break the door down for me?
I mean, is the door locked?
You try to open the door, and it appears to have been bolted with a simple, sort of old, not particularly high quality. The ship is obviously, done its service. It seems to be dead bolted from the inside.
I would like to try to kick the door down.
Make me a strength check.
I mean, is the hole big enough that I can just...
Let's go.
Wait, Connor, whilst Darmok is doing that, can I keep an eye on the base of the door for a small dwarf?
Yes.
Just
yes,
running
you
out.
can.
I mean, I totally get it.
No, I don't. 9 and a 4, so not 9.
With a 9, with the damage already done to the door, I'm willing to say that you managed to smash the rest of it off its not cleanly by any means, and it takes a few kicks, but you do eventually kind of break the bolt. You can actually hear the fitting it's on snap off. So the door itself, it's no CSI FBI open up door kick, but you managed to just about snap the fitting of the bolt off and eventually wrench the door open to where you see inside that it's much of the same of what was described to you by Dorothea. There's piles of weapons and seemingly a few pieces of armor, but mostly it's a lot of trinkets and jewelry just kind of in careless mounds on the floor. They seem to have been separated for some reason, like piled up into different piles, but it's hard to tell what the purpose is. There's 3 chairs in here, and it looks as though a lot of people have... there's been a lot of sort of like meals, like messily eaten in here, and the remnants cast aside. It is quite disgusting in here from a cleanliness point of view.
Would you say that someone has been here in the last very certain time frame, like very short, like someone was just
there's
here?
a lit lantern, and the door was bolted from the inside. I would just like to repeat that.
So I would like to look around to see if there's
A tiny dwarf?
anything. Yeah, watch your feet before you get into the door.
All right, describe to me, how are you looking around the room?
Okay, well, I'm going to make sure that I check as the door's open now, that there's nothing gonna tinily walk through behind me, and I'm gonna try to just push some of the treasure.
Okay.
Weapons.
Make me a perception check.
Okay.
Actually, do you know what? You can make it with advantage because with a few of you would be close enough to potentially pick up
I
on
should
this.
not be doing this.
Hey, nat 20. I mean, nat 19.
6.
Natural 20.
That's
It's a
right,
natural 20.
Yeah, natural 20.
Yeah, it's a natural 20.
Probably
So,
does those things.
you are dead sure of the fact that as you make your way slowly around the room, kind of, feeling out the different piles of assorted items and picking your way around the chairs, there is the sound, and because you got a natural 20, I'll say there's the sound and the sensation, if you know what I mean, of somebody gingerly stepping away from you every time you step forwards, as though somebody were backing up. You can hear the floorboards creak ahead of you as you walk.
I would shout out, "Come out now, I can hear you if you would like to live."
There's no reply.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go towards the sound and say, "One last chance."
The creaking of the floorboards appears to have been backed into a corner at this point. But there's no reply.
Or just go ahead and firebolt it.
So anyway, I started blasting.
Anyway, I started blasting.
Just hit him with a pocket sand.
Oh, yeah.
Egg?
Yeah, I'm gonna go towards the sound for the was creaking.
Okay. As you get very, very close to the creaking noise, all of a sudden a shimmer flashes before your eyes. And there's another Duragar stood in front of you. This one with his beard long and braided, bound in dark bands of iron. And he's backed into this corner, almost entirely pressed up against it. He goes, "Okay, you caught me. You can take anything you want. I don't care about the others. Leave us alone."
Where's the flail that you stole from us this evening?
You can see his beady eyes dart around a little bit. And he just goes, I don't know about flail. I didn't know the others. They held me captive here. I've never been here before.
Well, that's
It's
a
kinda
right
still-
lie.
It appears to still kind of trying to be backing up away from you and just bumping into the wall.
I love the insightless rolls that we sometimes never need to do. Yeah, Eddie's kind of upset. I'd like to kind of come up to him. I assume Darmark's kind of pinning him, so to speak. Not pinning him, but, in the corner.
Intimidating.
I'd like to, flash fire in my hand, I'm about to cast firebolt at his face and be like, "Where's the goddamn flail?"
With this, the Durgar seems to almost take a moment in response to your question, and he lets out a long breath. And it's almost as though his expression changes slightly into one of more determination. And he goes, "Look, you might think you've got me here. You don't know what you're messing with. I'm not joking. You don't know who I am. You don't know what's coming. Best thing you could do is just let me go, and I'll let you leave."
Those are big words from someone cornered.
Oh, I'm near daft. I know how it sounds. But believe me, these aren't empty threats.
Darmok, could you pin this gentleman for me?
Darmak's
Like,
gonna try to
Sorry?
grab his chest and push him up to the wall, on the wall, off the ground.
Okay, so you really kind of lift this guy off his feet, and he appears to be on his tiptoes. He's looking down his nose and chin at you. He's like, "Now what? You gonna kill me?"
I heard this was legal, and I'm gonna pickpocket him. I'm gonna take anything he has on him.
All right. So, when you pickpocket him, you find a vial similar to the ones
I
that
figured I would.
Darmok found. Oh, this one is full. This one still has its sort of sky blue colored liquid in it. Other than that, you find a folded up map, which is very similar to the map that is laying on the table. However, instead of scrawled notes on this one, there is full detail. And now you guys have a map of Icewind Dale that you got when you arrived. This has some different markings on to that. There are other locations marked, if you want to put it that way. Other than that, you don't particularly find anything on presumably Durth himself, except a rather vicious-looking dagger, which is not a pleasantly designed weapon. It's a curved, wicked-looking blade.
Does the dagger look to be made of the same material, the chardolin stuff that the mace was made of?
No.
Okay.
It's just wrought out of iron, like a sort of raid iron. What would you like to? Were you going to say something to him, Eddie? Or you
Eddie,
just robbing
did you find
I was-
anything?
I found a vial. What is this? How you become small?
With this, he looks up into your face and grins, and you can see he's missing many teeth, and others are blackened and rotten. And his foul breath catches you as he just goes, "No, I give them to the others. I can just do that anyway." Is that what you come here to ask me about?
Why do you care about Chardlin? Is that right? Is that how I say that?
Chardlin.
Chardlin.
Chardlin, yeah. As you say this, his brow furrows. He stares in your face and he goes, "You're asking about things you don't understand. Like I've said, let me go, and I'll give you time to get out of 10 towns."
So around this point, I would be starting to get worried that they haven't like finished what they're doing. So I'll walk in. I guess I'll see Darmok just holding up a door and like, what's the holdup? Why don't we have information? Why is he still alive? What are we doing?
We cannot find the flail. See if you can rummage through all of that.
I don't rummage, thank you. I was about to do the freaking Jedi mind trick thing. I would like to suggest to this individual that it's in his best. I would like to suggest that it's in his best interest to tell us everything that he's been hinting at, and then some potentially.
Are you trying to intimidate the fella?
No, I'm trying to suggest.
Specifically.
I'm
You're
casting suggestion.
You're casting suggestion.
Can you read me the test of suggestion?
Sure. You suggest a course of activity limited to a sentence or two and magically influence a creature you can see within range that can hear and understand you. Creatures that can't be charmed are immune to this effect. The suggestion must be worded in such a manner as to make the course of action sound reasonable. Asking they can't hurt themselves as well. Asking a creature to stab itself is not going to work.
Is there no saving throw against?
Oh yeah, I was gonna. The target must make a Wisdom saving throw.
Okay.
On a failed save, it pursues the course of action you described to the best of its ability.
Okie-dokie. So that is a 13 from our friend.
Ties go to the.
Ties go to the attacker.
He rolled to succeed. He passes the saving.
Yes, he does.
Darn.
So he senses you trying to do this, and he gives you a smile. He goes, "Weak little tricks like that won't work on a Durgar mind master. Listen, you haven't killed me yet, so I'll tell you a few things. My name is Durth Sunblight. That really is all you should have to know. But I'll tell you, my father, he's going to rule these lands not so long from now. So, let me go, and you won't face the wrath of Zardarok Sunblight."
Yeah, so we're tying this dude up, right? And just like giving him to the guards.
I probably.
Seems reasonable to me.
Yeah, well, your buddies
When
are
you
no more.
are you getting rope out as you do this?
Well, no. Hang on. He said he can do the thing where he gets all tiny, just like that, right? So.
Yeah, if he gets tiny, we kill him.
What? How are we gonna kill him? How quick does he change?
Step on him.
He's gonna, if we're giving him to the guards, then he'll just get out again.
Yeah. Why
I
don't
say we keel haul him.
do what now?
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what it means either.
I mean,
What does
It's
that
a very
mean?
gruesome thing you can do to
It's an
somebody on a ship.
incredibly gruesome thing.
Anybody who's seen Black Sails is traumatized at the mention of keel.
For anyone in the comments who doesn't know, it's when you throw someone off of a ship, off the front of the ship, and drag them underneath the ship and pick them up the other end.
Doesn't sound that bad until you realize that barnacles exist.
Yes.
Oh.
Yep.
Ew.
also ice would be.
Icky.
True.
They just slap into the ice. But yeah.
It doesn't quite work when the sea's frozen.
No.
Mm.
Well, I don't know if your flail's here, Eddie. I don't know where they would have stashed it. Oh, I have a question. What was in that barrel out front? The one that's lined?
Oh, it was empty.
With this,
Yes,
Durth
you had something.
glances his eyes towards you and he goes, huh. Well, that's where we put the chandelier that your friend's so fond of. You'll find his flail in here. Not that'll do you any good. You should make a gift of it to my father. Maybe that way he'd spare you from what's to come.
Oh, you are just all
So the
talk.
flail is here.
I'm gonna find
Aye.
it. I'm gonna
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna start rummaging.
Right,
Rummage.
it doesn't take you long. It's in one of the piles of equipment in one of the other corners of the room.
Yes.
Someone find it. I have a dwarf. Okay.
It's, oh, where'd you be getting a flail like that? A good source of chandelier. Not that we need any more. I think it's nearly finished.
It's
And he has a wicked grin on his face. He goes, oh, if you promise to let me go, I'll tell you all about our handiwork. And I'm a man of my word. I'll do it.
Is your handiwork the thing we should be afraid of?
Oh, that mostly comes down to my father. I am merely assisting him where I can.
And where's old daddy coming from, hey?
With this, he gives a glance around and he goes, I want your assurance. I'll tell you all about it, but you have to let me live.
I'm going to put him on the floor, still grabbing his shirt, and say, "We have the flail. I say we let this one live. I'm not so afraid of his dad, but I want information."
I mean, it seems like it's something we ought to know. I don't know if it helps us at all at this point, but I'm curious. We can let him live.
So this, he looks around you and he goes, so I have your word. You'll let me live.
I'm gonna...
You have my word.
Aye, you have mine.
Right. And he looks specifically at you, Darmok, and he goes, you break the word of a paladin. I'm sure you'll get what's coming to you. Okay. Fine. Well, let me up and I'll tell you about it.
I'm gonna let no, I'm gonna hold on to your shirt, just in case you pull any tricks.
And he glances down at your gauntleted fist, grabbing him. He goes, fine. My father, Zardalok Sunblight, king of the northern Duergar here. He's building something to destroy the blight that is 10 towns, standing in the way of the beating heart of our empire. And it's nearly here. And with this, you see a look of almost elation on his face.
What is it exactly?
The Great Dragon. Chadlin's a wonderful substance.
You're building a dragon.
Oh, no. No. We've built a dragon. And it's coming real soon.
A Chardelin dragon.
Oh, aye. You mock and you sound doubtful now. I think you've got... And with this, he peers out of a crack in the wood, seemingly skies, and he goes, I reckon you've maybe got a week. Then you'll see.
Well, I don't know if you've been drinking whiskey or what, or if we should believe you and start quaking our boots, but that sounds like a tall tale indeed, either way.
Oh, yeah. That might be a fine way to spend your last days. I think it's a tall tale. Go and drink with the other dullards. Your end is coming.
And this mechanical beast is being controlled by your father.
Mechanical. That does a disservice to what we've done. Zardarok's fortress as a forge, heated by the heart of a beaten red dragon, cut out when it was still alive. We've accomplished things you'd never believe, and it's nearly done.
Connor, would we have heard anything about this, like, between us? Would anyone have heard of this Sunblight guy before?
Nope.
Oh, well.
Where can we find this so-called dragon?
With this, the smile seems to grow slightly on his face, almost as though he relishes the prospect of you going to try and deal with this. And he goes, "Oh, you've already stolen my map. You'll see my father's fortress marked on there. No, if I were you, I'd escort me back there. We can tell him that you've safely brought me home after an attack. He might spare you. You could just work in the mines. Not that bad."
So you treat someone who saved the son of the king? No, thank you.
I can't imagine Izar working in the mines.
Oh, absolutely not.
He tried
And he
press to
lets out a
digitate
chuckle.
everything.
I am a prince myself. I do not need any protection that you offer. We said we would keep him alive, correct?
Correct.
Oh, they did.
Well, true. I was not going to mention that. However, we can keep him alive, bring him to the guards, tell them everything we know, tell them that they should alert the other towns, and let them know about the location of the fortress, as well as letting them know that he allegedly can shrink himself.
I think that's fine.
Yeah, we'd be holding up our side of the bargain.
Sure.
We didn't say we would let you go. We said we would let you live.
With this, the smile turns towards you, Izar, and then you, Darmok, and he goes, "Oh, I could sit in a cell for a week. Sounds fine with me. I'll be broken out after not long."
Oh,
Have fun with that.
"Oh, I will."
this one's starting to irk me. If there's nothing else we need, can we go?
I think I would like to tie him up at this point.
Cool.
Are there any like gross, dirty rags around?
Oh, yeah, there's plenty of sort of like
Oh my
filthy
God.
pelts and rags.
Fantastic.
Where
Gag
is
this
it?
dude. I don't want to hear his voice anymore. I'm not going to touch it. I mean, obviously. Come on. Me? Touch dirty things?
You
No, thanks.
do. I would also like to, at this point, now that he's tied up, I would like to rummage through the other bits of treasure to see if there's anything that's worthwhile to.
Sure, I mean, there's,
Yeah,
Me
there's
too.
a few daggers. You find another flail, not too dissimilar to the one that Eddie found, actually. Slightly less ornate, but fairly similar. You find a longsword, you find a shield. There's quite a few crossbow bolts, seemingly tipped with this chatelaine. Other than that, it appears to be, fairly innocuous sort of trinketry, earrings, amulets, rings. Would you like to take anything? There is some very ornate, sort of beautiful, glossy, because it's almost like an obsidian-like smooth substance. There are very beautiful amulets and rings cut in all sorts of fashions from it.
I really like jewelry.
I would.
I think we should take this all to the guard and hand it in. Because if the Captain Roberts mentioned that lots of things have gone stolen, we can return this all to their rightful owners.
I agree.
Well, Eddie, are you
Aye.
reclaiming your beloved flail?
Aye.
Aye, indeed. All right, you can add your flail back to your inventory.
Nice.
I would like to try and nick one of the more expensive looking things.
Ooh, make me a... What's a skullduggery check? Make me a perception check. Are you trying to do it without being seen?
Yes.
Oh, maybe a sleight of hand check as well then.
All right. So
To
perception,
see how fancy a thing you can see. A
And
sleight of hand
steal.
to see how well you pinch it.
9,
Okay? Sleight of hand.
5. I'm
I
bad
love
at
the
this.
0.
To all of you, Dorothea crouches down and picks up a fairly ordinary looking ring and puts it in her pocket.
Nice.
What?
Dorothea, I just said return it all to its rightful owner.
Fletch, I respect what you're trying to. Oh, okay, that's a lie. I don't.
I'm just putting it in my pockets to help carry all this shite. How else are we going
It
to
is
get that out?
legal in this place to pickpocket.
While
While we're not picking their pockets, we are indirectly picking their pockets, and I think we at least have a finder's fee of somewhat. And I would like to pick up the most ornate looking amulet and say, I have one already, but I would like another.
So
I understand why you'd want it.
When you look at these amulets, sorry, when you look at these amulets, they appear to be a glossy, like sort of a polished stone of Chardalin, if you like, sort of bracketed in a sort of ornate silverish bracketering with just an icon of a sword at the bottom of it for presumably decorative purposes. You actually see a few of these matching in the piles in the cabin. I mean, is it just Izar taking one, or?
I mean, I'll nick another one if we're all doing
Yeah,
it.
I mean, there's more of these fancy-looking amulets, and you know.
I understand it's tempting to see such material wealth, but think how much goodwill with the town we will buy by returning all of these stolen goods.
I feel like we've probably deserved a decent amount of goodwill already, based upon the fact that we have eliminated the scourge here, and don't forget we are warning of an impending doom. I feel like that is worth a few trinkets here and there. I'm sure.
I understand. I understand
that
that.
our lives would be fine.
Okay, so as you guys are bickering over the pile more, just for more details, because I assume that you're all kind of rummaging through and taking a look at this stuff as you're talking. There are 4 of these amulets, very ornately and beautifully set. They look very sort of expensive and fancy. There is probably, you would estimate, like 8 pieces of like assorted earrings and rings and other jewelry. And then there are the weapons that I listed earlier. There's some crossbow bolts, a longsword, another flail, and a dagger as well.
Now I have no use for jewelry, but I know a few gals back at the inn that would appreciate a new treasure and a tale.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, I don't. Frankly, look, for personal gain, sure, but you just give gifts to randos. That's just a waste of wealth.
I don't think he quite
We have
understands.
different goals.
Yeah. Let's
Different
just leave it
goals.
at that. You'll learn one day when you're a big boy.
Wait, Starbuck, this is just a dragonborn. He's way bigger than you.
We're not literal big boy, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. All right, well, I would like to take this. If you want to go and return these things, we can. Should we bring the guard here? Are we
Okay,
taking it to them?
So
What are we
just so I
doing?
know what's going into people's inventories, Izar taking an amulet.
Yes.
Dorothea taking an amulet and a ring.
Yes.
Dalmok, what are you taking?
I would like to take a necklace.
An amulet. Okay. Eddie taking the flail.
Just the flail.
Okay. And Fletch.
I will gather the rest into a
The
box.
rest.
Okay.
Not for
Into a
myself.
box. All right. Okay, so you've divvied it all up. You've tied up Durth. And what would you like to do now?
All right, well,
Now,
what are we doing? We getting the guard or what?
Well, yes, I believe some of us should stay here while someone go gets a guard.
I vote for Fletch to go get the guard.
And leave all of this here with you all alone.
You can take the box with you. Like, I feel
Fine.
like I'm being incredibly fair by only
Eddie.
taking one, frankly.
Eddie, why don't you get the guard since it was your item that was stolen? You can explain it better.
all right. I would have just tied him to the bow of the ship and left, but that's just me. But yeah, I'll be right back. I
All right,
waltz my way
while
down
he's
there.
gone, what do we do about the lovely shade of red that the dock is at the moment?
Dorothea, do you think you could manage getting the bodies back out? I didn't want to scare a passerby, but I don't want to
tiny.
have.
I mean, I'm pretty big for my height, for being a dwarf, but I can't carry those by myself.
I'll do it. I'll get the bodies.
All
back
right,
now.
you go. I'll help you. I'll moral support all the way.
Fletch, I'll make sure that all of the rest of the treasure stays in one piece. You have my word.
Right, so.
Yeah, it's
Right,
a
so
paladin. Big.
Is it just Eddie going to go fetch the guard?
I
Yeah.
can't wait to get ambushed on the way there.
I'll
I
go
can't
with
wait.
I'll go with Eddie.
All right. Eddie and Izar, you guys head out the cabin, and as you do, you see that dawn is just beginning to break. And as dawn breaks with you on the deck of the ship, we'll take a short break there so people can go and grab a drink, go to the loo, and all stuff like that. And we'll reconvene in 5 or 10 minutes. So as we come back to it, we'll join Eddie and Izar heading down the dock to fetch the guard. So what's your guys' plan? What are you doing?
We're going to fetch the guards.
Solid. I like it.
We're going to bring them back to the ship, right, Izar?
Yes.
Lovely.
All right, so as you guys make your way back towards the town itself, instead of being on the docks, you notice that there's a bit of calamity happening where you start walking off the dock, and you notice that there's actually the town hall. Of course, originally being a port town, the town hall is very nearby the water, and it's just off to your guys' left as you sort of disembark from the jetty, and you notice that there's a crowd forming outside of it. There are guards stationed closer by, but there appears to be quite a calamity going on outside the town hall. What would you guys like to do?
I would like to ask one of the closer guards if they know what's going on.
Good idea.
Sure. Yeah, you walk up to a pair of militiamen, and one of them looks down at you, this rugged half-orc, and he just looks at you and goes, "Oh, not watching the show?"
Show?
Yeah, they're finally burning that wizard who got all those folks killed, which is disgusting. Yeah, they're finally giving him his comeuppance.
What did he... I'm new in town. What did he end up doing?
Oh, count yourself lucky. Kept hiring people to go look for something for him. And, well, I don't know all the details. I'm sure if you go, they'll read it out, but I don't know all the details, but he kept hiring people and getting them killed. And rumor has it, anyone who succeeded, he'd kill them as well.
Sounds like a terrible contract.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're
very,
telling me.
very unfortunate for him, I suppose. We have some other interesting, pressing information.
Oh, yeah?
So we, I assume that you've heard about the numerous robberies that have been happening around town.
With this, the guard cocks an eyebrow towards you and folds his arm and goes, "You do know you're in East Haven, right?"
Yeah, but still, people apparently, allegedly, I don't know, we've heard this, have been complaining. Regardless, we found out that there are some stowaways. There's some really important information that the towns, all of them, need to know. And we also have some corpses that we would like someone to deal with. Who cares? They're Durgar, whatever. I'm sorry. Yeah.
All right, hang on. Have you been drinking? Is that what you two have been up to?
No.
You thought it'd be
Not at
funny to come to a guard and tell them whatever that was?
All right. Okay. So we're relatively new in town. We
Right.
heard there have been a lot of stealings.
Okay.
We'd been robbed.
Right.
We followed the robbers,
Okay.
and we found they like attacked us. We had to defend ourselves.
Right.
Unfortunately, they had to die.
Okay.
We found a bunch of goods, which we assume to be the things that have been stolen. But there was
Okay.
apparently an additional person. They made a lot of threats, not just to this place, but to the 10 towns as a whole. And we took it very seriously based on the information that we have.
Right. Good job. What are you looking for?
I mean, we're just looking for. We frankly we need to get. Do I know the government of this town? Like, do they have like a governor or something?
They have speakers who are like a council, but you would have seen members of a militia around who appear to kind of keep order, as it would.
We need to, I guess, alert the governing body so that they can send word to the other locales. And there's also the trouble like redistributing all of pilfered products back to their original owners.
With this, the eyes roll, and he simply goes, "Right, look, mate, it looks like you want the captain, and she's probably busy with, well, lighting up that wizard prick. Go find her there. That's all I can say. As for your redistribution of pilferings, frankly, I don't care. But if you averred proper threats against the town, she would be interested in hearing, I'm sure."
10-4.
Guys start walking towards
You
the.
hear an audible sigh as you start to walk away.
What a d-bag, dude.
That went real well.
Yeah, well, you know what?
As a wizard,
these
I'm a little
lower
scared about
forms-
what I'm about to walk into.
You'll be fine. As you guys approach the town hall, then you notice that the crowd's begun to gather, and from the declaration being made by what is a hastily constructed pyre with a man tied to a stake in the middle of it, you notice his hands are bound and he's had a gag tied around his mouth as well to prevent him from speaking. He's dressed in a deep red robe. You hear from the declaration of the executioner that this man is Dazan, a human wizard who, despite efforts to apparently disguise himself on the streets, was arrested by the noble militia for the crimes that he's inflicted upon the Dale folk. It looks like he's pretty ready to be executed as members of the militia are lighting torches from braziers around the pyre. And, well, would any of you like to do anything? Or are you just happy to watch?
I'd be happy to watch that, but you know.
That sounds
It's
a bit
not
dark.
really any of my business. I'm not gonna like stare at a dude being burned, but it's kind of not any of my business.
Okay, well, as you two are standing there, they put the torches to the pyre, and fanned by the icy wind, the flames catch very quickly. The man supposedly who is Dazan, he doesn't struggle or scream at all, but he's very quickly engulfed in flames. However, before the flames overtake him entirely, Izar, across the sea of the crowd, his eyes lock onto you, and there's a flash in your mind. An image so vivid you could swear you were there feeling the ice on your face yourself. You see an image of seemingly 10 or 20 feet of smooth, jagged rock sticking out of the tundra itself. It's the most alien-looking structure. But just as quickly as the image appears, it disappears, as Dazan is engulfed in flames. And I'll send you a few more details about what you saw. Whether you share them or not was your choice.
Interesting.
Oh.
As
Well,
right
that
now,
was
I will say
gruesome.
nothing about it.
Which one do you think the captain is? Can we find?
Just so I've
Someone looking-
DM'd you some
Cool.
more details about what you saw.
Oh, Lord.
I would assume that it is probably a, based on the gruff person we were talking to, an equally, if not more gruff, lady.
Can we see an
so are
equally
you-
gruff lady?
Yes, so as you look around the crowd, a little bit away from the pyre, there appears to be a militia person in much more sort of well put together armor and uniform, with a deep green cloak and properly made sort of almost gilded in bronze plate armor. She appears to be overseeing events and directing people here and there, and you would certainly assume that this is the militia captain whom you were referred to, whose name is Captain Arlagath, the guardsman said, I believe.
Would you like to take the point on this one again, Izar?
Yeah, I'm going to approach with what I consider. Well, fudge. This is a town full of essentially hoodlums, street rat scoundrels. Just a little. No, so I need to not be too pompous. I'm gonna walk with confidence, I guess, without looking like I'm better than
I
everyone,
would-
even though I absolutely am.
I absolutely would say, using the other guard's words specifically, a threat to this town. Make that the center point of your argument.
Absolutely. yeah, we're approaching.
Okay. She doesn't pay you any heed as you approach. She's very busy directing people about as the flames roar onwards, and you see members of the crowd actually breaking forward to warm their hands and themselves by the human bonfire because heat is at somewhat of a scarcity in this land.
Ugh, that smell must be disgusting.
Vagrants. Sure. So I would ask 1 moment, please. I have some important news. Not news. I have important information that you probably need to hear.
With this, she turns around. You see now she's a female half-elf with a very stern, angular face, and looking down her nose at you with a hand rested on the hilt of her sword, she goes, "You have news to speak of? What is it?"
Yes. So I guess the lighter stuff out of the way first. We've heard a bunch of robberies. I'm essentially just going to say exactly what I said to the other person.
Exactly how you said it.
No, so I guess I'll. Okay, so we're new in town. Heard about some robberies. We also were robbed. We followed the people, defended ourselves. Sure. We ended up winning. We found what we assume are the stolen loot, but more importantly, there's an additional person who some of our compatriots currently have captive, who made some very serious threats to the Dale as a whole, but to specifically
East Haven.
East Haven, thank you.
Sounds like a drunken robber threatened the world, tearing itself apart. Tell me, what was this threat?
It was a Duragar who allegedly his father, and I'll just say King Sunblight, has allegedly had a creation of Chartelaine formed into a dragon, and a threat has been placed on the entirety of Tintown. Essentially, that everyone will die, and the Duragar will rule this land.
With this,
sounds
he
crazy.
did not seem drunk. He seemed very serious.
make a persuasion check, Isa.
I'm good at persuasion.
I hope so.
Whoa!
Hey!
This
silver tongue.
very imperious, honestly quite intimidating guard captain seems to breathe in sharply as you finish your tale. And she takes a step back and ponders for a second and goes, "This would appear to be a matter most serious." Very well. Your tale seems too precise to have been woven out of thin air. I know of Chardlin. It's been a problem for this land for some time. Very well. Come back to the town hall tomorrow. I need some time to gather people necessary for a discussion of this magnitude.
What should we do about the captive and the stolen goods?
She looks behind you to see the... Oh, no, sorry, you haven't brought him with you, have you? So
No.
she goes, "You have him securely?" Very
We
well.
think so. He allegedly can shrink himself, but he's currently under the watch of my companions. Our companions.
We have magic wielders who can stop him doing that. Very well. I shall send a detail back with you to take custody of this man. But yes, at first light, come to the town hall tomorrow. I shall attempt to summon the speakers and perhaps representatives of other towns if they are within a reachable radius. Okay. And she seems almost bewildered as to what to do as she turns away from you and signals to two of her men to just go with you. She kind of just says, "Follow these guys."
Also, very minor note, but Scython should probably check on his boat once in a while.
And she sort of wrinkles her brow at you, Eddie, and goes, "Scython, he's the old drunken tiefling who runs the ferry, isn't he?"
Hey, that's where we found them.
Right. I'm not so concerned about the Duragar themselves that were here. I mean, of course, East Haven has many threats, but what they promised, I think that is what we need to discuss tomorrow.
We'll see you then.
Very well.
Bye.
And with this, she turns away and back to the soldiers. But you can see that as she goes back to sort of directing ongoings here, you can see walking away that her mind is clearly elsewhere. You've clearly kind of spun her a
Shook
bit.
her.
Yeah. And two of the guards follow along with you back to the ship. I assume you're going straight back to the ship.
Yep.
Is there anything else you would like to do? Okay, so
To the ship.
she commands these two soldiers to follow you back to the ship, and these two militiamen go back with you. As you reach back to the ship, you can rejoin the party on deck with the tied up Durth Sunblight. And, what would you like to do?
I'll tell you guys something. I cannot believe what Izar said worked, but it did. Here's two guards. They're gonna take Mr. Sunblight away.
I was a
And-
bit concerned that you both went, but I good job.
Why are you surprised? I told the truth.
I know, and it's just as the words were coming out of your mouth, Izar, I realized how absolutely incredibly crazy they sound. Like if you weren't living it, it would seem bonkers.
Yeah, but it wasn't coming from a vagrant. It was coming from me.
Ooh,
Okay.
I think he just called you a vagrant.
I-
I didn't. Yeah. So I guess I'll relay the important but not higher level things to the guards, just letting them know, hey, these are goods,
Sure.
I suppose. And
So the guards seem to acknowledge that this is the guy they've been sent to take away, and they do just that. They sort of take the ropes off you that you've tied around his hands and start pushing him down the jetty back towards the town, and eventually they disappear from sight, leaving you on the ship / the top of the docks.
So the only thing we have is to meet the captain of the militia tomorrow at town hall. She hopefully will be able to summon some people to help us with this situation.
Did they take all the items?
Did you
I,
give them the
assume,
chest?
I would have given.
I told them about
I
it.
don't know. Were they interested in the items? Like,
Yeah, I mean, if you gave them the chest of items, they'll have taken it with them.
okay.
Cat's like, damn it.
Well, that
We
was
still
a
have
fun
some treasure.
start to the morning, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's like what, 8:30 right now?
Yeah, it's very, very earlier than that, even like 7:30 or 8 in the morning.
Love it.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm hungry.
Yeah,
Let's go get some
I'm going
breakfast.
back to sleep.
So you guys heading back to the White Lady to continue your rest? Just finish up your long rest, I assume.
She said first thing in the morning, right?
Yeah,
Well,
tomorrow.
tomorrow. So we got a day to kill, I
A
think.
whole day.
She had some time. Shopping episode?
Beach
Question
episode?
mark?
Is there anything to shop at here? Like one
Not
little
too
store.
much.
Oh, sorry, pickpocketing episode? No.
Yeah, we could all try our hand at pickpocketing.
Oh
That
boy.
would be awful. Where's Derek when you need him? Yeah. That's what we would do. We just go
Okay,
back.
so you
and-
guys head back to the White Lady Inn, and nothing really of import happens. You make it back to the inn fine. Are you all heading up to your rooms
we-
to continue resting?
Quick
or-
question: do we walk past where they set the dude on fire?
No, because it's the other direction.
Oh, okay, cool.
Eddie wouldn't tell them about it.
I wouldn't either.
You wouldn't tell me about the dude on fire? You guys suck.
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
It's not like I enjoyed watching a man be. Look, I understand. I'm a fiery boy, but
Okay, fine.
I recoil at the fact that I blew someone's head off.
True. That's true.
and I was specifically told it was a wizard. So Eddie's like, hey, whoa, hold on.
Okay,
Wait a second.
fair, fine.
Yeah, I think we're
yeah.
we're going back just to rest.
All right.
Try to see if we can
So-
continue the long rest.
Would you guys be wanting to rest for the rest of the day? Is there anything else you'd like to be doing today, or would you just take it easy?
I want to take a look at that map. I want to.
Sure
I
thing.
want to study the map and make note
All
of
right.
places and things. And
Let's well, I'll put you on the map and I'll show you where it revealed to you. So, as you study the map that you took from Durth Sunblight, there are a couple of things noted on it. Now, what languages do you all speak?
I don't speak Dwarvish, if that's what you're asking.
Well,
I
that
speak-
might be
I speak common and giant.
Common and draconic.
Common and primordial.
do any of you speak Undercommon?
No,
I
I
don't
speak
think so,
Elvish,
no.
Common, and Infernal.
So some of you speak Dwarven, right?
yeah, I speak Dwarvish and Common and Celestial.
Fantastic.
I would
Alright,
hope the
so-
dwarf knows Dwarven.
Yeah, that would be a bit embarrassing if not. Dorothea, you see on the map that a place is marked called, and let me see if you can see that just appear, right? Bottom of the map.
Sunblight.
Sunblight, excellent. You can see something called Sunblight get marked on your map.
On chapter 3.
Apparently in chapter 3 as well.
That's
So you can
nice.
see something called Sunblight get marked on your map as you notice that it's not really lined up with any markings or anything on the previous map that you had access to. This appears to be just present on Durth's map.
Okay.
So
Cool.
Do
And then-
I notice anything else on the map? Potentially something that is alone.
other than Sunblight, which is far
Right.
from anything else that's marked out.
Connor, is it common knowledge that Duragar live underground in the Underdark?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
They are a very, very famous denizen of the Underdark.
Where did the goblins say they lived?
Karkarock.
Kakarot.
Cockalock. What a cockalock?
Karkalok, yes, sorry. That's an L,
an
not an
L.
L. I can't read. So.
Is the Sunblight positioning the same as the where we would expect the Duchess to be?
Seeing as that's the mountains and the sea is to the north.
Okay. It's
No.
true. See what it is.
I think
No.
That would be the worst boat ever.
I got a
the
little
worst
lost.
navigation of all time.
Reminder, don't
Maybe
follow
the whale
you.
took them there.
Maybe.
Oh,
Could
which
be a
way?
flying whale.
Yes, so that is what you now have access to on your maps. You can see the location of Sunblight.
All right, thank you. Neat.
I
Alright.
would also be like inspecting the amulet more and
Mhm.
wearing that and trying to figure out how to place it like with the one I already have and just like make it look nice.
Sure. Are you just having a look at it?
Yep.
Cool. Yeah. You
Doing that,
managed
wearing
to
it.
nicely arrange it with your other affectations, and yeah, you find a nice spot for it. What are the rest of you doing with your treasure, John? You just flailing about in your room?
I actually was going to, just for the sake of it, just because I
Hardy
am a
flail.
wizard, I'm going to ritually cast Detect Magic. Specifically
Okay.
trying to see if I can figure out anything about it.
All right. Yes, sure. So you detect magic on it. It's not magical.
Detect magic is an area, isn't it?
Yeah, it emanates an aura around you.
Yeah. And I think you
Does
can
he
use it
see
to
any
like hone
magic
in.
stuff through the wall?
I mean, do I see you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's all I was doing. Just crawling in my notebook.
Okay.
Long resting.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be looking at it and just thinking about who I'm going to be giving this to. That's all.
All right, nice.
Oh, goodness.
Detect magic is 30 feet, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big
You don't see anything else pop up.
40 feet away. No.
31 feet away.
Nice.
All right. Okay. Is there anything any of you would like to do today, or would you like to just rest and recuperate and head into tomorrow?
That's it for me.
Yeah, sure.
Just take it easy.
All right. So you guys kick back. Oh, he's up.
Oh.
I am going to walk back towards the pyre alone, or attempt
Okay.
to walk alone.
Spooky.
Sure. I mean, you can find a spot to essentially sneak out on your own if you want, and you head back towards where the pyre was outside the town hall.
Yeah.
It's late. What time of day would you like to do this?
Let's see. So it's early. I did that. Probably around, but sometime between 10 and noon.
Okay, so
Morning.
that's fine. So it's fairly busy. This is of course outside the town hall. The pyre is still there with the now smoldering fire, and there's no visible remains of Zan the wizard there, other than some crumbled up ashes in the center of the pyre essentially. But it's a large ember-like smoldering wood log pile at this point. Other than that, life goes on as normal. Really, people are carting about, walking about. It's a busy town square essentially.
There are two
What would you
things
like
I'd like to do.
Hmm?
I'd like to look essentially into the pyre to see if there's anything left there.
Okay.
Potentially something that would have survived the pyre.
Sure.
And then another thing is I would want to try and kind of stand roughly where I was standing before, and look roughly in the same space, essentially trying to replicate what occurred previously.
Sure. So you do the sort of where you were before, as that's how you'd approach the town square anyway. Nothing really happens. You do you're pretty confident that you're standing in the same spot that you and Eddie were when you saw Dazan being executed. Nothing occurs. And then you go and take a closer look at the pyre. Obviously, this thing is quite big and quite hot. You can't get in and rummage around. But there's nothing obviously in the remnants at all.
Right. I'll just be pondering what I saw, and then I'll head back.
Sure. All right. So for the rest of you, you're all just sort of kicking out back.
I would like to know what dinner is for tonight, since you always have such
always roast beef.
Oh,
Every
wow.
meal, 3 times a day, roast beef.
Oh,
No, but really, it's actually more like just sort of cold cuts and quite hardy food like root vegetables and things that will grow in the wintry earth of 10 towns. Rustic food, I think is how you describe it. But
yum.
anyway, you all settle down for the night after a day of rest and long-needed recuperation as exhaustion was beginning to set in. And nothing occurs in the night. There's no Duragar robberies, no ambushes, no need to tie ropes across your doors. And then morning breaks. And just gonna do something. Pay no
Roll
attention
more
to this.
D6s?
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Oh no.
I hate them. I hate them.
Is it good or bad if they're low? I don't know.
it's
I
torture.
don't know. I just like rolling dice. Don't worry about it. Okay.
For those of you in the audio version, he rolled more D6s.
A
I did.
3, a 2, and a 1. I guess we
Good
go
roll.
to the town hall.
Yeah,
I
let's do it.
All right. So you guys all get ready. You all get garbed up and meet up downstairs and begin to set out towards the town hall. It's very early in the morning. It's probably again 7:30 or 8, about the same time as you were there yesterday. And as you approach, you do indeed see the captain waiting for you outside, Captain Arlagath. And as you approach, she strides up to you, recognizing Izar and Eddie, and speaks to you two and says, "Unfortunately, I was only able to get the speakers of Easthaven to attend. That and a couple of my fellow militia captains. I've already briefed them on what you've told me, and I think they've made their decisions. I'm sorry, my friends, but you might not like what they have to say. Anyway, follow me inside." She turns on her heel and walks into the simple yet definitely one of the dominant structures in Easthaven, the stone town hall with its mighty pillars and solid construction. And you head into a very sparsely decorated but well-kept stone hall where there's a large ovular table at the top that appears to have formed a sort of haphazard war council around it. You can see a few characters in armor, but mostly more sort of political leaning. You can see people in simple robes wearing chains of office who are all bickering violently with each other. As Captain Argalath leads you in, she lets out a cough which grabs their attention. He goes, "The two who shared the news with me yesterday and their associates are here. I think that they're ready to hear what you have to say." With this, one of the older figures wearing a chain of office walks down the small set of stairs by this table and looks up towards you with aged eyes and says, "Hello, thank you for bringing our town such important tidings. I'm sorry they couldn't be happier. I'm afraid that there's not much we can do if this threat is credible, outside of perhaps sending a small band of you to investigate. We're unwilling to commit resources until we're sure the threat is credible, so I'm afraid you're going to need to back up your claims." And this aged man looks up towards you all.
Did the Duragar say anything? Have you talked to him specifically?
With this, Captain Argalath pipes up and goes, "Yes, mostly he taunted our men with similar declarations as to the ones you received. I'm not sure we're going to be getting anything more helpful out of him. He did say that you know where his father's fortress is. Now, this isn't information we want bandied around too freely. Each town in 10 towns can scarcely defend itself as it is. I'm afraid that we're going to need you all to head there, as we need to keep this information contained. Your mission's to head there. Simply see if what he's claimed is true. Perhaps there's not even a fortress there at all. Although Duragar activity has increased significantly in the last few months. Head to the location on the maps and report back. I trust you to use your best judgment in anything else that arises along the way.
Connor, I assume the majority of us...
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
We don't exactly have a means of traveling through the Dale.
She just goes, well, you can hike like anyone else. You likely don't want to take a large caravan. It would attract a lot of attention to you.
Would I know how long because I know where it is where it's on the map. How long a trip would that be?
It would be about a day and a half. You could probably get there with sort of one rest overnight if you pulled ass, but otherwise it would be 2 rests essentially.
Okay.
Well, say what this dwarf said was true, and there is a dragon there. That is quite a dangerous area to be going into.
You're right. I mean, there's little any of the people of 10 towns have that could prepare them against such a threat. Our main hope, perhaps you reach there before this dragon of theirs, if that's even what it is ready. It seemed to be hinted at that it was nearing completion.
Well,
perhaps it won't be active.
Do you not think it'd be a good idea to perhaps evacuate, just in case this threat is real?
Evacuate to where? The blizzards outside will keep all but the most hardy of travelers trapped indoors. The people here have nowhere to go.
There is that.
What, a week's travel through the spine of the world? It's impossible for any but people such as yourselves to even consider leaving Haven at the moment.
Good point.
See what we can find. If it really does come down to us showing proof, all we can do is go and try and find proof.
Is that all you want us to do is just find proof and then you'll find a way to stop it?
Yeah, but then what? We're wasting time. If it exists, surely we should be doing something proactive about it.
With this, Captain Argoloth kind of looks towards you in a, not a hostile way, but a very pragmatic way and goes, look, we barely have the time to make these sorts of decisions. If the threat is real, and if you can confirm it with your own eyes, perhaps we'll be able to petition people south to send aid. As it stands, we have very few options.
All right, then.
Well, you know, the reason that we're in the town that you hear is we have our own missions, our own things that we were also seeking. So, would there be any sort of compensation for helping to check this? Because it does take us off our original course.
And with this, a few people seem to kind of look away, and she goes, I mean, I haven't been cleared to offer any sort of monetary reward, but we confiscated quite a bit of stuff from Duragar activity. I'm sure some of it has value. You'd be welcome to take some of that. We're not exactly the most prosperous town at the moment.
I have another question. The individual that was brought to justice the other day, allegedly a powerful wizard. Do you believe that you've confiscated anything from him that you might believe could provide us with some sort of aid on our travels?
Wizard?
With this, she cocks an eyebrow and goes, "Oh, you're speaking of Dazan. Yes, it was good to see him finally brought to justice yesterday. I mean, he didn't really have too many personal effects on him. I'm not sure where he was working out of, but perhaps he had a couple of things. Again, nothing major, but I could always check for you if you'd like."
That would be fantastic.
I think those combined would be good enough to take this perilous journey into the unknown.
Very well.
You inspire such confidence there, Tarmak.
It's my job.
Well, Blizzard's not getting any better.
No, what do you want to set out right now?
Does anyone have anything else to do in East Haven while we're here?
Not particularly. Maybe just stash up on some supplies before we go.
Yes, well, we will have to come back here anyway.
Get a barrel of biscuits.
You want to carry it?
All right.
With this, she just goes, "Well, good luck. I'll do what I can to shore up our defenses should the worst come to pass. Hopefully, it's merely a bluff."
Let's hope.
Here's hoping.
All right. Okay, so as the party get ready to head out to Sunblight, that's where we'll end today's session before they step into the blizzard. Hopefully,
I don't like it.
they'll be fine. They'll be
Are
fine.
we going to die?
We're probably gonna die.
We're only level 3 and we're going to endure our 4.
Game over, man.
Hi ho, off to
You'll
our death
be
we go.
fine.
Yeah,
I've already
for
blown up a
the
Durgar, just do it a few more times.
Yeah, just keep that
for the
flame.
items that we could have just kept.
Yeah, probably.
But now we have carte blanche to take them.
Yeah, freedom.
Fletch can't yell at us.
I get it.
He's not yelling. He's just sternly describing.
Sternly.
He's
I'm
not
just
mad,
making
he's
you
just
feel
disappointed.
guilty. That could be like some poor family's only wealth, and you just
Well, they should have
lives
looked
are worth
after
more
it
than
better or
lives.
not lived in East Haven.
Oh my goodness.
Dear Lord.
They should just move. Can't afford
You
rent.
should just get more money. Come on.
rich.
Okay.
It's not like I
Anyway.
had it any better. I had to sell one of my 3 houses.
Yeah. God.
Small loan of 1,000 gold.
Ah,
God. All right.
I
I'll
got
catch you guys in
football
a
to
bit.
watch.
All right, that's
Bye.
true.
Bye.
Bye.